Video, I'm going to demonstrate the data validation tools in Excel. The data validation tool basically allows you to restrict the user's inputs into a particular cell. So I'm going to use it in a couple of different ways. There are many others, but this will at least demonstrate how it works. So the first and perhaps easiest way, so we go to our data ribbon, and there's a data validation drop down. We click on data validation. So for example, generally you're allowed any value. So that's the standard data validation. I'm going to switch this to be, let's say, whole number and minimum of 0 and a maximum of 20. As you can see, these little buttons here on the right mean that these minimums and maximums could actually be cell references. Okay, so we've got minimum and maximum. And let's say I put in 15, which is between 0 and 20, and Excel is perfectly happy. But if I put in -3, it tells me that the value doesn't match the data validation restrictions defined for this cell. Okay, so it doesn't let me enter that. If I go to data validation, I can, for example, add a message. When the cell is selected, show this input message. So we'll say, type in a number between 0 and 20. We'll call that input 1. And then we'll give an error. And the error can be stop, it can be a warning, it can be information. And so we're going to call this input 1 error. And the error is the number is not in the specified range. Okay, so now we'll go to some other cell. We go to the cell, it says input 1. Type in a number between 0 and 20. I type in 12, it's happy. I type in -3, it tells me the number is not in the specified range with a title here of input 1 error. I can do the same thing if I want. Let's go look at the data validation. I could, for example, instead of choosing values, whole numbers, and decimals, let's do a date, for example. Again, we can be between 1/1/2000 and 12/31/2010. Input message, input 2, enter a date between 1/1/2000 and 12/31/2010. Error alert, input 2 error, the date is not in the allowed range. Input 2, enter a date between 1/1/2000, 12/31/2010. So I put in 1/1/2004, it's happy. If I put in 1/1/1999, it gives me the error message I chose. The last kind of data validation I want to show you is what's called a list. I have created over here on the right a named range of tickers. So these are stock tickers. And I am going to set my data validation settings. And now I set list, and it actually comes up with in-cell dropdown, meaning I'm going to have a dropdown. And I can do equals tickers. Okay. And now you can see in this cell I have a dropdown, and it's allowing me to select one of my tickers. Again, if I type in anything, it doesn't like it. I haven't set the error message for this particular input, but I can choose anything, and I can either select them or type them. And that is